Hi, this is Cath King from Seeking Health, and today I'm going to be talking to you about raw foods. And this video is part of a series that I started a few months ago in order to help people create their own nutritional plan. And when we first started this series, I talked about soil depletion and how the nutrients are not in the soil, and if they're not in the soil, then they're not going to be in our food, and presented you with some strategies to help you address our depleted food situation, which included different levels of nutrition. And there was a foundation level, it was superfoods, super herbs and supplements. And the foundation of your whole nutritional plan are the foods you eat every day. So they need to be whole, organic, high raw and a plant-based diet. And the last time I did a video, I talked about why plant-based, why vegan, and I talked about how we're anatomically designed to eat plants so that when we eat our natural diet, we have optimal health. But that optimal health is just not possible if you're eating food that you're not designed for. And today I'd like to talk to you a bit more about why raw. And to start that discussion, I'm going to talk to you a bit about antioxidants. And antioxidants are really important in terms of slowing down the aging process. And you can see that very clearly when you look at an apple core that you've got. It starts to turn brown, and that's oxidation. And oxidation is happening all the time inside our bodies. And with the apple core, we can add lemon juice, and that slows the aging process down because lemon juice is an antioxidant. So when we eat a diet that's rich in antioxidants, we can slow the aging process down in ourselves. But when we cook food, between 25 and 80% of the antioxidants are actually lost. And in addition to losing the antioxidants, cooking also denatures things like minerals and proteins, which makes them not as easy for our bodies to use. So as we're talking about longevity and slowing the aging process, one really important protocol is called calorie restriction, and this is the most studied longevity protocol, and it's sometimes called Crohn's, which stands for calorie restriction with optimal nutrition. And I guess the way I would say that is that you have to make every calorie count. So it's certainly proven that if you restrict the number of calories, if you eat a low calorie diet, that you live longer and that you're healthier. But it's also proven that when you have a diet that is not nutritionally adequate or nutritionally optimal, so you're not getting those antioxidants, minerals and proteins that you need, that's not optimal either, and you're not going to live as long as you could, and you're not going to be as healthy as you could. So if we want to make every calorie count, and you look at cooking food where you lose nutrients, you actually have to eat more of the cooked food in order to get the same number of nutrients. So you're going to have a higher calorie count each day if you're eating cooked food. Raw food also helps us to feel fuller because cooking dehydrates food, and that means that it condenses the calories, but it takes up less space in our stomach, and so we will feel less full consuming the same number of calories. And we will also feel hungry because our bodies aren't getting the nutrition it requires. And you can see that, I suppose, when you look at eating bread. Not that I recommend you eat bread, but if you compare how full you would feel after eating a piece of white bread versus a piece of the Vogel's whole grain bread, you would know that it's quite a different experience. You feel a lot fuller when you eat the whole grain, and so that's because the whole grain has a lot more nutrition than the white bread, not specifically because it's taking up more or less space in your stomach. And in addition to living longer, raw food gives you more energy. And when we look at energy, all energy comes from the sun, and it's converted by plants through photosynthesis into a usable form. And so plants really package the energy of the sun, which is biophotonic energy. And that's energy which is electronegatively charged. And that electronegative energy goes into our cells, and our cells love electronegatively charged energy. And so when you're eating a diet that has a lot of this electronegative energy, it makes it easier to get up in the morning, you don't get that mid-afternoon slump, and sickness also occurs when our electronegative charge gets too low. We can also look at our immune system, which can cause us to feel a lack of energy. So when you eat cooked food, studies show that it raises the white blood cell count, and that's what happens when our immune system is under attack. It increases the number of white blood cells in order to fight whatever invaders there are. So our immune system really sees cooked food as an invader and a toxin, and this is called digestive leukocytosis. And it doesn't occur when you eat raw food, or when you eat food that is, when your meal is more than half raw. So the idea is that your diet really has to include more than 50% raw food. And I guess it also makes sense on an energy level when you consider that we are energy beings. Quantum physics has proved this, and so when we eat our food, there's a huge energetic component to that. There's a lot of talk these days about good fats and omega-3s, but it tends to be associated with fish and fish oils. But when we consider where do fish get the omega-3s from, they get it from plants. They'll get it from the algae that grows in the oceans. If you're looking at other animals like cows, if they're grass-fed, they get their omega-3s from grass and all the other green leafy vegetables they eat, because green plants have got lots of omega-3. And the main problem with humans is that A, people don't eat enough greens, and B, people eat far too much processed foods and too many oils that contain omega-6. So it's not that sometimes we can't get enough omega-3, it's that the balance is not good. We should have a balance of omega-3 to 6 of 1 to 1 is the ratio that we should have, and most people's balance is way off. And the final part of the reason for eating raw I'd like to introduce is plant enzymes. And this is a very controversial topic in the raw food movement, and people who disagree with the raw food diet criticize, this is one of the main areas that they criticize, is the plant enzymes. And so when we look at the science behind enzymes, we can clearly see that cooking does destroy enzymes. And we can also see that we can actually make all the enzymes that we need if we're providing our bodies with all the raw materials it needs. So that's the vitamins and the minerals and the amino acids. And so raw food certainly helps us to help our bodies to make the enzymes, but also we are able to use the enzymes in plants. So although we can make them, if we get more of our enzymes from plants, and the enzymes from plants do actually remain active all the way through our digestive tract, so it can save our energy for our pancreas, because our pancreas makes the enzymes. So if we're consuming more enzymes, we're having more energy because our pancreas is not having to spend energy in making enzymes. So those are some of the main reasons that I promote a raw or a high raw diet, and I cover most of these reasons in my book Uncooking Secrets of Raw, as well as giving you the recipes that you need to know, so that you know how to implement this knowledge. Because while it's good to know why and have a real understanding of your nutrition, that knowledge won't benefit you at all unless you put it into effect. So unless you drink the green smoothies and juice the kale and eat the salads, all that knowledge that you gain won't improve your health. And the book's now available as both a hard copy and as an ebook. So if you want to have a look and see how you can incorporate more raw foods into your diet, you can go to my web store, and the link for that is at the bottom of this video, and you can purchase those at a very small price. So don't just fill up, fuel up.